It's been a while, but the stands are filled, the sand has been smoothed, and we are ready for the return of the Hubelino Tournament. Readying themselves to participate in this revival, the first since 2018, we are joined by 8 teams, both new and old, and all are ready to challenge themselves and hope to secure a victory in the first event, Sand Rush. They have one aim: travel as far into the sand as possible, but this is no beach holiday for our competing teams. First up, we've got the Rojo Rollers, and down the ramp onto the sand, and 2/3 of the way through the pit, but it's early now in the competition to see where that lands them in the standings. 80-25. See if the other teams can do any better. We've got Sheep of the Wolf Pack, the reserve representing their team. They head onto the pit. Ooh, hit the wall at the top, but it seems to have done very well for them, as they've almost gone on to sign at the other end. That's 115-89. It'll be impressive to see other teams beat that, but we've still got most of the teams to go. Team Primary go down the ramp, and quite a straight line there with a little curve at the end, and they've reached around 100 there. But let's see, 101.31. Put them in second at the moment out of the first 3. And now for Minty Drizzle of the Minty Maniacs. Down they go, and ouch, they hit off the side of the ramp while coming off, which meant they didn't manage to get very far. Just over 60, let's see where that is, 60-40, currently in 4th. They're probably really hoping now that some of the other teams make the same mistake as them. Results after 4 runs. We've got Wolfpack at the top still, way in the lead with that 115.89. The Marble League and surrounding series are full of many unique teams and marbles, available for you to buy yourself in the collector's tin. Head to our shop to see what merch is available and rep your favourite marble team or series. After the break, we've now got Blackjacks with club representing their team. Down they go, and a very straight line up to the end. They've managed to get just over 90. Let's see where it puts them. 3rd place with 91.85 so far, and only a few teams left to go. The captain of the Bumblebees, Bumble, is going next. Ooh, a great showing there. They've managed to get over 105, which will put them up at the top. 2nd place so far with 108.10, a very good round there. Team Momo next. Down they go, bouncing off the walls on that. That must have lost them some speed, but they've still managed to get to just over 90. Let's see where it puts them. 93.09 gets them to 4th place, and there's 1 to go still. Last but not least, the Oceanics. They know what they need to do. Can they do it? Down they go, hitting the bottom. They've managed to get right up to the sign as well. But let's see, is it enough to take first? Not quite. 2nd with 115.80, but still a very good showing from them. The final results there, we've got Wolfpack in the lead with their 115.89. Oceanics after that with 115.80. Minty Maniacs unfortunately didn't do so great there, but we've still got 7 events left to go. And that's it for the first event of 8. We'll be back for the next one, Balancing. Hello and welcome to the second event of the Hubelino Tournament, Balancing. Now, we had some comments after the last event wanting me to introduce myself, so hello, I'm Nora and I'm the commentator for this event. After our first event, we have Wolfpack currently in 1st place, with Oceanics in 2nd and Bumblebees in 3rd, with Minty Maniacs in last, but there are still 7 events left where each team are hoping to earn more points and hopefully win the tournament. In this event, the teams want to travel as far down the catwalk as they possibly can, earning points based on the boxes that each marble falls into. Rojo Rollers first to show us how it's done, but they've only managed to get as far as the 3rd box, which isn't a fantastic result. They're going to earn 6 points from the 3rd box with their 2 marbles, and 6 points for their 3 marbles in the 2nd box, for a total of 12. Wolfpack up next, let's see if they can do any better, and they can! 1 marble all the way up to the 6th box, while the others sit firmly in the third and second box for a total of 15, putting them in the place above the Rojo Rollers. Team Primary now, conferring with their coach, but it doesn't seem to help them too much. They do manage to get 2 marbles, however, into the 4th box, but 2 also fall into the 1st box, which is not the kind of result they want. They do have 12 points, which puts them currently in 2nd, but there are many teams left to go. Minty Maniacs now. Ooh, that's a fairly good result there. A marble all the way up to the 6th box and a marble in the 5th box. That'll get them a lot of points for a total of 18, currently in 1st, which is precisely what they want after the disappointing results of the Marble League. Blackjack now. 1 marble up to the 5th box. At this point, the marbles have to be wondering, is it even possible to get as far as the 10? But we're yet to find out from the other teams, and there are still 3 to go. Starting with the Bumblebees. And only up to the 5th box as well there. But they have managed to avoid any marbles in the 1st and only 1 in the 2nd, so they do get 17 points in total, which is a fairly good result for them. Team Momo now, newbies to this competition, hoping to prove themselves. Up to the 4th box for Team Momo, which isn't exactly the result that they would want, but they do still have another round to try to earn more points. So that's a total of 11. Oceanics up next to finish off the 1st round. And that is an excellent result. They absolutely deserve all of the clapping that I'm hearing from up here. A marble all the way up to 10, showing the other teams that it absolutely is possible and can be done. Well done to the Oceanics, currently in 1st place based off the 1st run with 24 points. Minty Maniacs in 2nd with 18 points, and Team Momo currently in last, hoping for better in the 2nd round. If you want to represent your team, feel free to visit the yellowsmarbleruns.com shop for official merchandise. After a short water break, all the teams are back and raring to go, starting with the Rojo Rollers. And that is a much better result than their 1st one. They must have been watching the Oceanics and learnt some technique from them, because that's a marble all the way up to 8 for a total of 19. Wolfpack up next. Did they also get any technique from the Oceanics? Let's see. It looks like they have done, all the way up to 7 there. That's a pretty good run. However, they do have quite a few down in the bottom. The best way to earn points in this event is trying to get the members to stay on for as long as possible, so that they can all build up points. And will Team Primary do that? No, they will not. Only 1 marble up to the 4th box, which isn't fantastic for their score so far. That's 10 points, 2 points lower than in their 1st run. Minty Maniacs now. They did fairly well on the 1st round. Can they do that again? Unfortunately, it seems not. Only up to the 4th box. 4 points there, and 13 points in total. The 13th run is by the Blackjacks. All the way up to 6. That's a decent run from them now. But if only the rest of the team could have caught up. It seems with this event that it's usually the last marble to go down the ramp that manages to go the furthest. Let's see if this is true. Yep, once again, the last 2 marbles managed to make it to the 3, but if the other marbles could have just held on for a little bit longer, maybe the Bumblebees would have been seeing a score higher than 10. Team Momo up now. The penultimate run of this event, and a very disappointing result for Team Momo. Just because this is a small event doesn't mean the teams can relax. At this level of competition, every tournament, no matter how small, matters. Oceanics currently in the lead. Let's see if they can. Yes, they can. 8 points with one of their marbles, but it all comes down to how well the rest of their team has done in the back there. And they have managed to get 17 points in their second run, a great result. And that makes them win balancing with 41 points. Rojo Rollers and Minty Maniacs both have 31 points, although Rojo Rollers takes second with their 19 in run 2. Team Momo only managed 21, but they weren't too far behind the other teams, and hopefully they still have plenty of time to catch up with the other teams in the remaining 6 events. Thank you for watching, we'll see you in the next one. It's another week and another event in the Hubelino Tournament. Today our 8 teams are all participating in the Slalom event. Currently we've got Oceanics in the lead, followed by Wolfpack, then Rojo Rollers, and down at the bottom we've got Team Primary, Blackjacks and Team Momo, who are all hoping to do a bit better in this event so they can go higher up in the standings. In this event, the teams need to travel down the slalom, just one athlete from each team, and there is no finish line here. It's just the first to drop off the end of the event. So we've got Remus and Rojo Uno currently going. They've been going for 10 seconds, now on the yellow section. It's difficult to tell who's in the lead. I reckon Rojo Rollers, and that little red bit, once they've left the red area, is when their time stops. So we've got a replay, and there we go, Rojo Rollers just crossing first, which means they'll be going on to the next round. Up next, Minty Maniacs and Team Primary. Down they go into the red section. Now onto the blue, about to pass the first event official. There they go, and it seems that Team Primary just has a bit of an edge. Maybe that top lane is a bit better, but we'll have to wait to see what the other athletes think of it. And there we go, Team Primary just crossing a tiny bit before Minty Maniacs, so that gives them the win for this round. Bumblebees versus the Blackjacks. Ooh, but this time we seem to have the Bumblebees, who are down on the bottom side, are a whole marble ahead of the Blackjacks, it looks like. Will they keep it up for the rest? They certainly seem to be fairly consistent, and across, there we go. Bumblebees can have that win. A replay just so we can see. You can see the event officials down at the bottom there, but the audience doesn't need them to tell them who won that round. Ocean and Momo. Up next, Momo is the captain of their team, and they haven't been doing great in the past, especially the last event. So I'm sure that they're hoping they'll make it up, and they seem to be currently. Oceanics obviously doing very well, but not in this event it seems. Well done to Team Momo there, specifically to Momo. Almost out of the red section before Ocean had even reached it. Right, Rojo Rollers, Bumblebees, Team Primary and Team Momo are all moving on to the next round, which leaves Oceanics, Minty Maniacs, Blackjacks and Wolfpack, who've already taken their place. Possibly a slightly disappointing result for the Wolfpack and Oceanics, who currently reside at the top of the standings. There is nothing better than sitting down to watch a marble race, other than possibly getting the Skyway Chase to race your own marbles. Visit yellowsmarbleruns.com to buy your own. We are back for the semi-final. Rima of Team Primary and Rojo Uno, the captain of the Rojo Rollers. Down they go into the blue section. Passing the audience and that first official. The audience get a great view here, except for maybe those at the bottom. I'm not entirely sure they can see much of it, but it's okay, because the fans cheering will tell them clearly that it's Rima who took the win in this. There they are on the replay, over the line before Rojo Rollers managed it. Semi-final 2, we've got Team Momo against the Bumblebees. Bumblebees seem to be leading at the moment. Can Momo get ahead? I'm not sure if any of the teams have managed it yet so far, but no, never mind. Team Momo seem to just be slightly ahead, and that's it. They've managed to overtake the Bumblebees. Congratulations to Momo for their slaloming skills. I'm not sure if that's a real word, but it is now. And our teams are just now getting ready for the finals. Starting off with the third place match between Rojo Uno and the Bumblebees. Bumblebees up on the top there, and they seem to have taken an instant lead. But we've already seen that just because you haven't got the lead at the start doesn't mean you can't take it. And will Rojo Rollers take that? Doesn't look like they are. Nope, so that's third place to Swax of the Bumblebees. The reserve showing all of the teams that just because you're the reserve doesn't mean you can't win, and against a captain as well. Our final, Team Primary against Team Momo. Momo off to a great start there. Down they go. Can Team Primary catch up with them though? They're now on the green section, not long to go. Can they do it? And Team Momo wins this event. Congratulations to them taking the gold. And Team Primary, possibly not as happy, but a silver is a silver. There's that replay, winning by a league there. So, we've got Team Momo in first, Team Primary in second, and our third place is the Bumblebees. Wolfpack down in 8th, but all of the teams still have many events left to try to earn more points and get higher in the standings. And in terms of the standings after 3 events, we've got Oceanics in the lead still, but Team Momo is now up 5 points. And we'll see them all in the next event. Most marble events test a marble's speed, but Funnel Endurance tests it in a slightly different way. Teams need to stay in the funnels for as long as possible in order to win. Welcome back to the Hubelino Tournament for the 4th event. Oceanics are currently at the top of the standings with a decent amount of points above the others. However, as this event tests something slightly different, maybe we'll see another team earn the points to rise in the standings. I'm Nora, and I'm glad to be back commentating for you for this event. Our marbles are all lined up at the top of the track there, just waiting for the barrier to lower, and they can all rush through, spinning around the funnels, trying to win. And there they go. It's a mad dash at the start, each marble colliding with another marble, which forces them to fall through the funnels. Oceanics are currently at the top there, but all it takes is to fall through, hit off the Minty Maniacs, and immediately fall through again. I think that's Team Primary and Oceanics down at the bottom there, entering the larger funnels, which isn't where you want to be for this event. Team Momo up at the top there, staying fairly strong, but all it takes is a slight bump and you go through. But they are holding on. Oceanics down still at the bottom, but there are other marbles quite close to them, so it could be anyone's game. Rojo Rollers now in the lead at the top there. Now, while this event doesn't want you to be fast through the funnels, having some speed in the funnel can be helpful to keep you spinning round and around and avoiding falling through. And there we go. That's the Oceanics first down, followed by the Wolfpack, putting them into last place. We've got, oh no, that looks like, is that Team Primary who accidentally fell off the edge of the track? That'll give them a DNF for this event, as our final 2 marbles begin to fall off. That's Rojo Rollers down, and you can see Team Primary over there. They'll have some medics coming over to check on them and make sure that they're all right for the next round of this event. Here's a replay of the beginning of the match, and Rojo Rollers came in first place with 8 points, Blackjacks in second for 7 points for this event, but Team Primary down there with 0 points after that tragic fall out of the track just at the end, so close to earning some points. But it seems that they are okay and will still be joining us for the next round. Up here you can see how high we are on this event. It takes a specialist marble to be able to conquer that height. Now, if you want to represent your favourite teams, feel free to visit the online store at yellowsmarbleruns.com and see what they have to offer for you to show everybody who you root for. Preparing for the next round now. Our 8 athletes have moved slightly for this second round, some of them hoping for better results, some of them hoping for the same results or better. And down they go. That looked like either Bumblebees or Team Primary were the last in, but it doesn't matter because they've both fallen through roughly in the middle now. We've got Team Primary, nope, just Roho Rollers up the top there, seeing if they can repeat what they managed in the last round. Wolfpack now entered the larger funnel, followed by Team Momo, who did fairly well in the last event, the last round. But it doesn't make a difference because now they're falling through quite quickly. And is that Oceanics, a whole funnel between them and the next marble, hoping to keep that up because that would be great for their points. They might currently be leading the standings, but it all comes down to how well they do in each event, as there is still a fair few to go. And who's that at the bottom? Team Momo, almost about to make it out, and there they go. It's not the kind of result that they want to see. And the same for Wolfpack, who've also just joined them now at the bottom. And it looks like Roho Rollers, oh no! Roho Rollers have done the same thing as Team Primary, but this time colliding off another marble, which forced them out. Hopefully they're okay. I'm sure they'll be checked on in a moment, but it's a win in this round for the Oceanics. A much better result than the first round for them. So well done to them. Here we've got a replay of some of the drama that happened within the funnels. Each marble battling it to try to stay in the funnels for as long as possible. But there we go, Oceanics get the 8 points from that round, adding to their previous score. Team Primary second, Bumblebees third, and that's another DNF for the Roho Rollers. There we go, Blackjacks in first place in this event with 12 points, which is the same as the Bumblebees in second. Oceanics third, and Roho Rollers, despite that DNF, still managed to get 8 points from their win in the first round. Let's see what that does to the standings. We've got Oceanics still in first place with 36 points, leagues above the others, but Bumblebees have moved up to second and Blackjacks have jumped up from the bottom of the standings, and we'll see you next time. Swing Wave is not the event for the easily seasick marble, although fortunately for the Oceanics there is no water involved. Welcome back to the Hubelino Tournament for Event 5, commentated by me, Nora, all the way up here in the commentators booth. In the last event, Funnel Endurance, there were some dramatic things happening as Team Primary and Roho Rollers both managed to fall out of the track following the final funnel. Roho Rollers issued an appeal for their points back and it was accepted by the JMA, so both Team Primary and Roho Rollers have had their points reinstated, which means a slight shift to the standings as we go into this 5th event. Oceanics and Bumblebees still take the first and second spots, but Roho Rollers are now all the way up into 3rd place as we go into the Swing Wave, where each team goes down through the waves and has to try to finish in one of the sections with a higher number. This event is being done in a bracket style, and we've got Roho Rollers and Wolfpack going first. A fairly decent performance from both teams there. Roho Rollers managed to get up to the 7th section, with 1 in the 6th pit and 2 in the 5th, whereas Wolfpack are a bit more spread out but a bit lower down, which gives them a total of 19 compared to Roho Rollers' 23. Team Primary versus Minty Maniacs. Down they go, and that looks like Team Primary have managed to get higher. Minty Maniacs bunching down there on number 4, which isn't a great result for them. Disappointing considering their place in the standings at the moment, but they will have other chances in rounds a bit later on. Rojo Rollers and Team Primary now. Ooh, both Rojo Rollers and Team Primary managed to get 1 in 8, but Rojo Rollers have 2 in 6 compared to Team Primary's 1, which might give them a bit of an edge in terms of their total points. Yep, that's 23 for the Rojo Rollers. You'll see at the end there is a box which you don't want to fall in as you'll only get 1 point, but there's a tiny section between that box and the 10th pit where if you manage to land on that, you get 12 points. Wolfpack here with a great result of all the way up to number 9. Minty Maniacs bunching a bit further up, which is good, but Wolfpack's 9 have given them 26 points in total compared to 21. Rojo Rollers and Minty Maniacs. A much better result from the Minty Maniacs there. 5, 6, 7 and 8, whereas Rojo Rollers haven't done so well in this round, getting a 3. So they've got 19 total, but Minty Maniacs have 26. Wolfpack and Team Primary. Down they go, fairly spread out for Team Primary there, but where's their all the way up to 9 is their furthest marble. Wolfpack have bunched up fairly high up, which will be good for their numbers, but can it beat Team Primary's 9? It can. 27 for the Wolfpack in total. That means Wolfpack and Rojo Rollers will be going on to the next round, while Minty Maniacs and Team Primary will not. Time for Group B, started off by Team Momo and the Blackjacks. Down the waves, and an instant great result from Team Momo with 2 in 7, 1 in 8 and 1 in 9. It's a fairly similar result from both teams, but with Team Momo slightly shifted to the right, which will earn them more points. 31 in total. Oceanics against the Bumblebees. Seems like a couple of marbles there seemed a bit slow out of that start, but it seems to have helped the Bumblebees greatly as they've managed to get all the way up to 10. An excellent result from them there. They do have a 4, but with Oceanics having a 3, and is that a 2 as well? Disappointing result there. Loses them that round, but Team Momo and Oceanics now. That's 2 of Team Momo held back there, but once again, it seems to have done fairly well for them. So the question is it a tactic or is it unintentional and just seems to be quite helpful? Team Momo there with 28 over 20 points. Oceanics not doing so well in here considering their place in the standings. Blackjack now, an excellent result from the Blackjacks all the way up to the 10 with 1 in the 9. Their lowest being 6. That'll definitely get them the win in this round over the Bumblebees. 32 points in total compared to 24. We haven't had any over the 10th box, but maybe Team Momo or the Bumblebees now could change that. And we've got another marble in the 10th section. Well done to the Bumblebees. 1 in 10 and 1 in 9. That's going to give them a great total. 32, with 30 from Team Momo, so very close, but they just missed out in that round. Blackjacks up against the Oceanics. Down they go, ooh, and the Oceanics have lost one quite early, which isn't what they want from this. And Blackjacks have managed to get higher than the Oceanics as well, so it seems like this is going to be a Blackjacks victory of the two of them. With 26 points over Oceanics 22. And we have our teams going on to the semi-finals. Wolfpack and Blackjacks and Team Momo and Rojo Rollers, with our 5th to 8th positions decided. Not a good result from the Oceanics, who've so far been doing very well. If you've ever fancied yourself owning the marbles that you see within the Jelle's Marble Runs videos, then feel free to visit the jellesmarbleruns.com shop to buy the collector's tin or any of the tins with the teams in. And we're back for the semi-finals of the Swing Wave. Wolfpack up against Blackjacks. Wolfpack a bit slower out, but it doesn't seem to have worked for them this time. They've got one marble each up in line, but Blackjacks have spread out a bit further up the field, with one just managing to fall into that 8th area there, compared to Wolfpack with 1 in 3. Team Momo and Rojo Rollers now. Down they go, fairly evenly, but nope, that's Team Momo far ahead of the Rojo Rollers there, with 1 in 9 and 1 in 10. You can see how close they are to falling behind. It just takes a tiny bit of extra energy to push them into the next number. And this angle really shows you how big the drop each time is. But it's impressive that none of them have managed to fall out of the area yet into the section that only gives you 1 point. But we haven't had any land in 12 yet. But we've got another one in 10. Well done to the Wolfpack there, but Rojo Rollers have managed to get 2 in 8, which is definitely going to help them points-wise. Question is it enough? No, it's not. Wolfpack with 30 points. And that gives them the bronze for this event. Which means it's only the final to go now, where we find out who takes first and who takes second. We've got Blackjacks up against Team Momo. Down they go, quite close to begin with, but Blackjacks just edges ahead and manages to get 1 in 8, 9 and 10. Which is a great result for them in the finals. That's 33 points and first place for the Blackjacks. Second place for Team Momo. Third place for the Wolfpack. And then we've got Oceanics down at the bottom with Team Primary and the Minty Maniacs. Minty Maniacs really must be hoping for better results in future events so that they can go up in the standings. But it's a great result for the Blackjacks, who have now taken first place in the standings after Event 5. Oceanics dropping down to second and Team Momo coming up to third. We'll see you next time. Many young marbles know what a seesaw is, but very few of them have raced on them, probably for quite good reason. Welcome to Event 6 of the Hubelino Tournament, Scale Trap. Blackjacks are currently first in the standings, followed by Oceanics and then Team Momo, but even with 3 events left, all of the teams are fairly close, so it's anyone's tournament. I'm Nora, and I'm excited to be seeing the scales tipping on this race. 2 marbles go down the track, and it's fairly similar to the slalom race earlier on in the tournament, but this time they've got scales that they have to try to navigate, so it requires some good balance. Rojo Rollers going down with Wolfpack, and it looks like Rojo Rollers are the first winner of this event. There they are, just crossing the finish line in front of Wolfpack with a time of 9:94. Well done to them, Team Primary and Minty Maniacs. Down they go, approaching the first scale, and over this next, and it looks currently like Minty Maniacs is in the lead. Ooh, that was quite close. It actually looks, even though Minty Maniacs seemed to be in the lead before, those scales can change everything, and Team Primary just managed to get ahead by a tiny amount, if you see the time there. Bumblebees up against Blackjack. Off they go, very close to begin with. Will the scales change things? Yes, Bumblebees have pulled ahead, and they will take this round. A replay there, they'd already crossed the line before the Blackjacks even came onto screen, with 9:77 compared to 10:25. Oceanics and Team Momo. both near the top of the standings at the moment, so they'll both be hoping for a good result in this race, especially Oceanics, who might want to grab that top spot once again. And it seems to be going well for them so far, as they've managed to take this round over Team Momo. With a time there of 9:78, an unfortunate result for Team Momo, who would have been hoping for something a little bit better, and that puts them in 7th place in this event. But Blackjacks, who are currently in 1st in the standings, are all the way down in 8th. That's not looking good for their points. Minty Maniacs in 5th and Wolfpack in 6th. If you're a fan of a team, and let's face it, who isn't, don't forget to go to the yellowsmarbleruns.com store to find, peruse and purchase merchandise from your favourite team. And we're back to continue some more tricky balancing down the scale trap race. Roho Rollers and Team Primary up against each other in the first semi-final. Down they go, and it looks like Team Primary are currently a little bit ahead, but everything could change. It doesn't look like it has though. Team Primary done fairly well there. They're ever so close, but yep, Team Primary just got across ahead with a score of exactly 10 seconds. Oceanics against Bumblebees. Down they go, past the audience, who all have a good view in this event, mostly. And the Oceanics managed to cross first. It's looking good for them if they want to take back that top spot in the standings. Less fortunate to the Bumblebees, who will be competing in the 3rd place race. You can just see from this angle how tall the scales actually are when the marbles reach the top of them. And I know I'm up in a tower, but my tower doesn't move. And thank goodness for that. Roho Rollers and Bumblebees for the 3rd place match. Down they go, both crossing that scale at the same time, tipping the next one. It's very close at the moment, but it looks like Roho Rollers might just be pulling ahead, and I think they've got it. There we are, a little bit in front of the Bumblebees. That's 9:98, and so they take the bronze for this event. Which means we are ready to find out the 1st and 2nd place of Scale Trap. It's between Oceanics and Team Primary, a team near the top of the standings and a team right near the bottom of the standings up against each other. And Team Primary seem to be just ahead so far, and I think they might have got it. Let's have a look at this replay, and there it is. A little bit ahead of the Oceanics, but it's enough to give them 1st place for this event. Well done to Team Primary for 1st place. 2nd place goes to Oceanics, and 3rd to Roho Rollers. The teams below them have got to be hoping that they do better in future events. We'll see how much this has impacted Blackjacks in the standings, who were previously right at the top. Let's have a look. We've got Oceanics has taken that top spot once again. Blackjacks have fallen down, but Team Primary have managed to climb up 4 places, which goes to show how close everyone is so far. We'll see you next time. With only 2 events left of the Hubelino Tournament, the teams are desperate to earn the points that they need in order to succeed. Huh, I'm a poet. Oceanics are currently at the top, but can they win this battle and the wall? Event 7 got Tug of War. 2 teams go head to head down the beam, and their aim is to push the block in the middle as far as they can onto the other team's side. I'm Nora, and I'm the commentator. We've got 2 groups for this event, and starting off the first group, we have Team Momo and the Roho Rollers. Ready to go, and down they go. 1 marble from each team manages to make it to the middle.
The block isn't moved too much, but it looks like Team Momo has just managed to push it a little bit onto Rojo Roller's side, which gives Team Momo 1 point for the distance that they managed to push the block, as per the farthest part of the block. Oceanics versus the Wolfpack. Ooh, not good for Oceanics. None of them managed to reach it, which gives a clear run for the Wolfpack to push the block to number 2, giving them 2 points. There's 4 points in total all of the teams can get. Let's see if Rojo Rollers or the Oceanics can manage it. A much better round there from the Rojo Rollers. They've managed to get 2 marbles all the way to the end, which has pushed the block all the way to number 3. Team Momo up against the Wolfpack. It's a straight line to the middle, but still a challenging one to do, especially from some teams who may or may not have struggled in similar events such as balancing. Wolfpack, however, takes this round, managing to get it all the way to 2. Round 5, Rojo Rollers up against the Wolfpack. A fair few marbles managed to make it at least to the middle there. I'll have to see the replay to see. Ooh, that was a collision there off one of the Rojo Rollers marbles, but it was okay because they still managed to get it to 1. Team Momo here and the Oceanics. Oceanics, who are in the lead at the moment, have not been doing well in this event. And it's Team Momo who manages to stay in the middle there, so some great balance. And they've managed to push the block almost to 3, but not quite. Looks like it's on the line there, but that's not quite enough. And we've got Rojo Rollers and a Wolfpack of Group A who will be going forwards into the semi-finals, with Team Momo and our current tournament leaders, the Oceanics, not making it through. Team Primary and Blackjacks starting off Group B. Down they go, one of each makes it into the middle once again. Looks quite close. But that's a win for Team Primary there, as they've managed to get it over to the Blackjacks side just by a little bit, but it's enough. Bumblebees and Minty Maniacs are next. And that was quite a good result there from the Minty Maniacs. 2 of them managed to make contact with the block, which has helped them enormously in getting the block up to number 2. Team Primary and now the Bumblebees for round 3. There they go, and Team Primary are the only ones who managed to make it to the block, but only one of their athletes. But they've managed to have a clear line to push it to 2. The other team didn't. Blackjacks and Minty Maniacs. That's 3 Blackjacks who made it to the middle there, but I think only 1 or 2 of them made contact. Just 2 there. They've got it to 2, close to the 3 mark, but not quite. And not a good result from the Minty Maniacs this time. Team Primary and Minty Maniacs, so they do get another go here. Can they do any better? And they can. That's possibly 2 of them made contact there. Yep. Pushed the block in an almost straight line. Seems a fairly good tactic. They haven't quite got it to 3, but a 2 is a fairly good result. Blackjacks up against the Bumblebees. And down they go. 1 of each makes it in. It means that they've both pushed it a fairly similar amount, so it's very close here. But the Bumblebees have just got it. And that's the end of the Group B, Minty Maniacs and Team Primary going forwards, whereas Blackjacks and the Bumblebees have both failed, which means that the top 2 in the tournament currently have not made it through to the next round. We've got Team Momo, Blackjacks, Bumblebees and the Oceanics all already have their positions for this event. Race your own marbles using the Skyway Chase Marble Run. Find it on the yellowsmarbleruns.com store. and we now return to the Tug of War, or the Push of War. Rojo Rollers and Team Primary are beginning the semi-finals. Ooh, no contact at all from Team Primary there. Rojo Rollers just catch it on the corner, and that's enough to push it to number 2. This is a really tricky event as it requires not just precision going down the beam, using some of the balancing skills that some of the teams have been lacking recently, but then also the strength to push the block at the end, which Minty Maniacs do seem to have now, with 2 marbles there to help it, which gave that Minty Maniac, who's managed to stay by the block, an extra push to get the block further, which gives them the win in that round. Our 3rd place match now between Team Primary and the Wolfpack. And that's a great result from the Wolfpack, who are currently second to last in the tournament. Seem to have employed Minty Maniac's strategy there of giving that first marble an extra little bounce towards it, and they've managed to get a score of 3 from that. So well done to them. And we now have our final between Rojo Rollers and Minty Maniacs. Minty Maniacs currently in last position. No matter how they do here, they will be earning some good points, which is great because they didn't do fantastic, which leaves Rojo Rollers to take the win, even only getting the block to 1, almost 2, it's on the line there, but that gives them the points that they need to rise higher in the standing, with Minty Maniacs in 2nd place and Wolfpack in 3rd place. We'll see how this affects the standings now, with our top teams not doing well and the bottom teams doing a bit better. I want to see how this shuffles things up and whether or not Minty Maniacs have a chance in the final event. There we go, Rojo Rollers have moved up to 1st place. Oceanics and Blackjacks have both dropped, with Team Primary staying where they were, and Minty Maniacs, despite 2nd, are no longer able to win. We'll see you for the final event. 8 events, 8 competing teams, and a lot more than 8 steps up to my seat in the tower. But we're finally here at the last event of the Hubelino Tournament, Rodelino. The standings going into this final event see Rojo Rollers currently in 1st place with 51 points, followed by Oceanics and Team Primary. The only team now unable to win the tournament are the Minty Maniacs, who sit at the bottom of the standings, but every other team is counting on this final event to secure them the points to potentially win the tournament. We have fans everywhere around this track, up in the stands and also down on the track itself, with the teams all around the finish line ready to cheer on their competing marbles. 1 marble from each team is going down this track in a straight race, but there's a bit of a twist, or a drop so to speak, in the middle of the track. So we've got Wolfpack, Rojo Rollers, Team Primary and Minty Maniacs first. And that looks like the Wolfpack over the line first. That's the line between the yellow and red section where the official is sat and the little Hubelino Tournament logo is. Rojo Rollers finishing last, so we've got Wolfpack and Minty Maniacs moving on to the next heat, with Team Primary and Rojo Rollers going on to the losers round. Blackjacks, Bumblebees, Team Momo and the Oceanics next. And they seemed fairly close there, possibly Oceanics. Team Momo had a lot of speed that carried them out of the track at the end, but fortunately it matters that they crossed the finish line and not where they went afterwards. So Oceanics in 1st, Blackjacks in 2nd, and then we've got Team Momo and the Bumblebees going into the losers round, disgruntled though they may be at the loss of the extra points that could have helped them in this final event. All these marbles watching and waiting to see who wins this tournament, ready to finally see some marbles on the podium. And speaking of marbles, if you fancied owning some of your own JMR teams, feel free to look at the Collector's Series on the yellowsmarbleruns.com website. And we're back. ready to see all of the marbles race once more. First in the losers race to determine our 5th to 8th positions, with Rojo Rollers, Team Primary, Bumblebees and Team Momo. And that looks like Bumblebees crossed the line first with so much speed that they managed to bounce off the ball and go back in the other direction. Unfortunately, this is not a long distance event and their extra effort will not go towards giving them more points, but a 5th place is better than 6th, 7th or 8th, so I think they'll take that in this round. You can see the height that the marbles go down on the track, and we've got Wolfpack, Minty Maniacs, Blackjacks and the Oceanics, showing the rest of them how you do it. Blackjack's in the lead there, and it looks like they've crossed the line first. Minty Maniacs jumping into another lane there, but I think it's Wolfpack in 2nd place for this event. We'll have a look there. Yep, Blackjack's in 1st, Wolfpack in 2nd, Minty Maniacs in 3rd, and Oceanics in 4th. Fairly good result for Minty Maniacs, even though they can't win. It'll boost them up the standings a bit though. Blackjacks has a great result. They're currently 4th in the standings, whereas Rojo Rollers only getting 7th while currently being 1st is not great because they won't be earning a lot of points. And we have our winners of the Hubelino Tournament. Blackjacks with the gold, Rojo Rollers with silver, and the Oceanics coming 3rd and getting the bronze. Congratulations to all of these teams for their efforts in these 8 events. They've all done fantastically well despite the challenges of the events, and I'm sure all of the teams will be cheering the marbles on as they go back and start training for their next competition. And here we have the final standings, with the Blackjacks in 1st place with 57 points. There's not much between all of the teams, but it goes to show what that effort can give you. Congratulations, and we'll see you all another time.